be repaired. Okay. Hey, welcome to part 2. Sorry. I didn't think about that. So anyway, yeah. Damn part 2. Damn it. These pants could be fixed. So I don't have to donate them. Now, my caveat to that is thrift stores are not going to want that stuff. They're not going to want things that are ratty and disrepair. So, that is something to take into consideration. But like something that doesn't fit, something that's out of style, something that isn't color that doesn't work for you, or something that is like the cut or the design of it is just a no, or it's just not something you want to wear anymore, donate all that stuff. And don't forget, it's not just thrift stores, because thrift stores, sometimes people give them junk, right? Like, you know, people who've gone to Goodwill and given them junk. And I'll tell you what happens to that stuff. It goes in the trash anyway. So, there's that. And I'm not promoting Goodwill or Salvation Army or any particular thing, because there are a lot of problems with some of these organizations and how they're run and their politics, and that's not cool. But that's why I say thrift store. Any kind of thrift store. And you know what? Use the one that you have at your disposal. Use the one that will accept what you're trying to get rid of. But don't forget shelters. Now, what I will say about a shelter is you need to ask them ahead of time if they want certain things, because there's certain things they're not going to accept. Like, they may take donations of, Bath and Body products, provided that they've never been opened, right? The seal is still on them. Because who knows if it's expired or gone bad, if it's been opened or if it's been contaminated, and that's a safety issue and a health problem. So it's totally reasonable for them to want to say no to certain things. But also, maybe they just don't need it. Now, there are plenty of ways to reuse things. Here's an aside. If you run out of toilet bowl cleaner, you can use your shampoo. It's soap. So things like that, you can get creative if there's things that you can use up, where it's maybe something that's going to be hard to donate. Which is not, I'm not encouraging you to keep this stuff so much as, hey, don't create more trash, okay? It's not cool, friend. Now, here's the other thing. If something needs to be mended and it sparks joy, learn to mend. Or find somebody who mends. And get it fixed. And there you go. Generally speaking, I would say that if something is in disrepair, falling apart, that you should just chuck it. But when it comes to clothes, a lot of that can be fixed. And a lot of it can be addressed. Or, the clothes can be repurposed in some way. Like, if it's not, it could be turned into a rag. It could be given to, a weaver who uses fabric. It could be donated to some other organization who, needs fabric or cloth and doesn't really care, what color it is or whether it's stained or whatever. So that's another thing that I want to make clear. Now, we're gonna end this video out. Oh, this is really big. Oh my gosh. So this is my goals. I'm going to try and paraphrase this part. So the reality is I'm at a major junction of my life. I was really hoping after my Saturn return that this shit wouldn't happen, but here we go. And to be perfectly frank and honest, I'm getting a divorce. Number 2. Woo! Right, 3 strikes, you're out. So, this is a major change, which means this is a perfect time to change this stuff. This is a golden opportunity to, while I'm sorting everything out, get this shit sorted out. And then also, I have the added benefit that when or if I have to move, depending on, which is a complicated question, which has no specific timeline associated with it, I won't have to haul as much shit with me, because I gotta tell you, moving is stressful. I don't like it, and it's a mess. And then, you know, when you're moving, you often find shit that you just forgot you had, right? And then, depending on the circumstances under which you're moving, which I've moved in some real shitty circumstances, like I had to get out in 3 days, or I was there a week, and then I found a better place to live, and so I had unpacked everything and had to pack everything back up and stuff like that. And, you know, it's stressful. And so let's not make it more stressful by having extra stuff that we really don't need. And you're kind of doing the item a disservice to keep it around and not use it. Like, that is wasteful. Versus giving it to someone who could use it. So that's, you know, part of it. But I know that I will feel better with less stuff around me. I have not been very productive so far this weekend because I have been tidying my office. Like, I put a bunch of stuff on my desk, realized, oh, friend, you got to get that stuff off your desk. Had a bunch of stuff in a basket, which means the basket couldn't be used for laundry, which is what it's for. So I'd sort all that out. And then, you know, all these were little things that had to go a specific place. And so yeah. And a lot of times the reality is, you know, that's a thing that I have to do on a regular basis. So I know that this also means that certain things that I have been avoiding or put off or not had time to do are also going to get taken care of. And what I'm specifically referring to are papers. So we'll go through real quick. The categories are clothes, books, papers, kimono, which is not to be confused with kimono. Kimono. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry. And kimono is miscellaneous, just random stuff. And then the very last one is sentimental. And it's last for a reason. And she explains all of that in the book. So again, you should read it. But when I get to papers, I'm going to have a hard time because I have a lot of papers. I have, in fact, looking around me, I have 2 bookshelves full of papers. I have 2 postal boxes full of papers. At least. There's probably more. And for me, a lot of this, it's stuff that needs to be taken care of. I need to digitize it. I need to organize it. It needs to have a place. Oh, I have the filing cabinet that I was putting stuff in the other day, and I realized it's too full. And I'm like, oh, I should probably get rid of some of this stuff, huh? And, you know, if I can, because I try not to keep extra stuff that I know I don't need. So I'm pretty good about it. And me being like that makes this process a lot easier. If you're not like that, if you're extremely sentimental and nostalgic, this is probably going to be difficult for you to do. So I'm just going to be upfront with you about it. But me, I have a rule in my household. You know, if I haven't used it in the last couple of months and I'm not going to use it in the next couple of months, I don't need it, obviously. And if it's not something that I don't love anyway, why is it in here? Right? If I don't love it, it just means that every time I look at it, it's going to piss me off. Like, oh, that thing's over there. And this is something I learned from someone who shall not be named. But when you keep hold of stuff that you don't like, you don't have space for things you do. So if you have trouble letting things go, consider that as a thing. But, you know, these papers, a lot of it is just, it's unfinished business and loose ends and things that are looming over my head that are reminding me, hey, you haven't done this yet. Hey, you haven't done this yet. And I will feel so much better to get stuff done because I love getting stuff done, like for real. So I feel sincerely that I'll be able to move forward with other stuff once this is done. I think I'll be a lot more successful in my other ventures because I won't have this in the back of my mind. I won't be using another thing to avoid something else, which is totally a thing people do, right? And my attention won't be divided, and also I'll have a space. Like, if I need to put something away, I'll be able to actually do it. Because, you know, I'll have the shelf space, or I'll have closet space, or I'll have space somewhere. And then, you know, when I'm looking for something for work, I'll totally be able to find it, like, quickly. Not versus, ooh, where did I last see that? So I imagine I'm going to be physically lighter, and like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritual lighter, because I'm going to get rid of stuff, obviously. And my home will be in this peaceful state of tranquility, which I had my space feel like that. I actually had somebody comment on it once, and I was like, oh, thank you. And that's because, you know, I was very intentional about how I arrange things and where I put things. And I think it's important to be intentional like that versus just throw it in the closet. And then, of course, I want, if I invite you over, right, that you would feel that. Because, you know, if it's great if it's palpable to me, and obviously, minimum, it needs to be palpable to me. But when it's palpable to other people as well, I feel like you've done a good job, friend. So, also, I will know where everything is, finally. And then my to-do list can get easily managed because I won't be thinking about the extra things on my to-do list that I have to do. And I feel like I'm going to be able to work more efficiently. For one, because I won't have to clean my desk off before I get started working. And for two, because, you know, again, I'll have more space. Like, when I get crowded and when I feel the walls closing in on me, I can't concentrate. And it sets off my anxiety really bad, and my depression doesn't particularly care for it, and it's really difficult for me to function. It makes me super cranky and, like, low-grade pissed off all the time, and people are just, why are you so mad? And I'm like, because things aren't right. They're not where they're supposed to be. So there's that. And I know overall it's going to be very, very helpful to my mental health. It's going to be very helpful to any kind of plans that I have to go doing forward. It'll also be helpful to anybody else who ends up in this house, you know, both my kids and whatever. Sorry about that. I had to run off to tend to something. Anyway, so going forward, I'm going to make a new video with each category, and then at the very end, I'm going to make a video of, like, an after-action review. And the whole purpose of that is, one, it'll keep the video shorter, and then you can see the progress, and I can see the progress. And that'll help me get through this. So I'll let you know, the before and after of each category. Like, this is everything. This is where everything was. And then what it looks like after. And, I'll probably have just still pictures, honestly. But, yeah, I think it's important to just see that. Because sometimes in the process, it's hard to see that you did anything. So documentation helps you see things. But look forward to my next video, which will be about the category of clothes. Adieu, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen, have a nice night.